There's a growing trend on social media and the church where people are saying that there is no such thing as generational curses. And these people are saying it confidently while quoting Ezekiel chapter 18. And they sound educated, but here's the issue behind all of that. Confidence without comprehension is still spiritual ignorance. See, this teaching exists not to argue, but to bring clarity for believers in Jesus Christ. Because when theology is oversimplified, many people stay bound while still calling it freedom. And here's the question that I pose to you. If there are no generational curses, then why do deliverance exist at all? You see, a generational curse is not witchcraft floating through your bloodline. It's not a spell that you didn't consent to. And it's not God punishing you for somebody else's sin. You see, a generational curse is unrepentant iniquity that gains access through family lines and repeats until confronted. Exodus chapter 20 verse 5, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generation. Notice the word iniquity, not sin. You see, sin is an act, and iniquity is a bent, distortion, or a pattern. You see, it's iniquity that teaches sin how to travel. You see, Ezekiel chapter 18 is often quoted to shut the topic down completely. But Ezekiel chapter 18 addresses guilt and judgment, not impact or transmission. Ezekiel chapter 18 verse 20, the son shall not bear the guilt of the father. Key word, guilt. You see, God was correcting Israel's mindset of we're suffering because of our ancestors and we're not responsible. You see, God is saying we don't go to judgment because of our parents' sin. We are responsible for our own choices. God never said that the family pattern won't exist. God never said that exposure doesn't matter. And God never said that learned behavior disappears as salvation. You see, Ezekiel chapter 18 teaches accountability, not amnesia. So let's talk about a real biblical example. Judgment against Eli's family. 1 Samuel chapter 2 verse 3. It's not superstition, it's covenantal consequence. You see, Eli knew that his sons were corrupt. Eli warned them verbally, and Eli refused to restrain with them. 1 Samuel chapter 3 verse 13. Because his sons made themselves vile, and he restrained them not. You see, the priesthood was a family assignment. You see, when leadership refused correction, the whole entire bloodline suffered. See, that don't contradict Ezekiel chapter 18. And here's why. Because Eli wasn't judged for his father's sin. He was judged for what he tolerated. You see, what a leader refuses to confront, the lineage must recover from it. And let me tell you why deliverance exists. You see, if there's no generational issues, why did Jesus cast out demons on people who never actually practiced sin? Why did Jesus address spirits and not just behavior? And why did trauma exist in families even after salvation? And not only that, why does Paul even tell believers to renew their minds? You see, deliverance does not exist because salvation is weak. Deliverance exists is because salvation is positional, but healing is progressive. John chapter 8 verse 36. Whom the Son sets free is free indeed. You see, freedom is real, but walking it out requires confrontation. So you can be saved and still think like your parents. You could be saved and still respond like your trauma. See, you could be saved and still fear like your bloodline. And that doesn't mean that Christ failed. It means that there's work still to be done. See, this is the real problem of it all. Indoctrination disguised as education. And what y'all seeing and hearing on social media or even in y'all church, that's not revelation. That's reactionary theology. Because some of these pastors, leaders, and Bible scholar type educated people, they are afraid of abuse, excess, and bad deliverance practices. And that's why they swing to the opposite side to deny anything that requires inner work. Listen, being educated without spiritual discernment produces spiritual arrogance. And arrogance will always resist deliverance. Why? Because deliverance requires humility. Here's the truth of the matter. You are not guilty of your ancestors' sin. However, you may still be affected by what they normalize. You see, Jesus provides freedom. The Holy Spirit leads transformation. And deliverance confronts access points. Responsibility determines outcomes. Here's the thing, you don't inherit guilt, but you can inherit patterns. Think about the many alcoholics that are in your family. Think of the many drug addicts that are in your family. Think of the many failed marriages in your family. Think of the abuse that goes on in your family or the anger issues in your family. That didn't just start with you. And here's the thing, patterns don't break by denial, they break by truth. You see, debunking generational curses don't make you mature, but breaking generational cycles does. And if deliverance didn't matter, Jesus wouldn't have done so much of it. Yep, I said it.